What's the best thing that happened to you in Cambodia?
Honestly, I feel like Cambodia doesn't have the best reputation.
They're quoting issues from 10 years ago, which is ridiculous.
The country is beautiful, but
We are in Battambang, Cambodia. This is about 5 hours drive from the capital city, Phnom Penh. And since I'm back in Cambodia, I have been receiving quite a few comments about Cambodia. Some good comments, but also some quite nasty ones, I have to say. A little bit painful in my ears also. I think Cambodia is great, but what do people really think of Cambodia? That's gonna be the main question. We're gonna ask some random people here in the streets of Battambang what they think, the good things, but also the somewhat negative things about Cambodia.
This is my first time here, but I've been here for 3 weeks actually.
Okay.
And I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're 3 weeks in Battambang or 3 weeks in Cambodia?
No, in Cambodia. I was in Siem Reap before this. My expectations were very low before I came here.
Okay.
But in Siem Reap especially, like, it's such a nice place to relax. There's so many good restaurants, there's gyms, there's so many places to stay. It's a really cool, chill place. Honestly, I feel like Cambodia doesn't have the best reputation. I didn't expect to be like dangerous or anything, but overall, I'm just pleasantly surprised that things are working here fairly well. Yeah.
That's why I also make this episode, because a lot of people they are sometimes giving bad comments, like really nasty ones sometimes. And I just want to, I don't see it, but I just wondering what other people think, and you think it is actually quite nice, Cambodia.
I think so. The people are super nice. I didn't run into any trouble with them. And you can solve anything with a bit of cash in your pocket.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you heard any, because you're staying in the backpackers, you were saying off camera.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any bad experiences from other backpackers?
Not in Cambodia. Only one girl, she got dengue fever, but she got it in Thailand. So.
Okay. Yeah. That can happen anywhere, I think.
Around here for sure.
Have you been to Phnom Penh?
I haven't been there, and I'm not planning to, be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard it's a big, busy city. That's not what I'm looking for. I just want to chill. This reminds me a bit of Chiang Mai, actually. Not this place, but Siem Reap reminds me of Chiang Mai.
I can see why.
Yeah.
It's a coffee culture there, a lot of cafes, a lot of places to eat, and nice.
Very cool place.
Is there something that, other than what you've already mentioned, something that you did not know, or what people don't know about Cambodia, what you can teach us?
The English is pretty good. People speak English here. You need USD for most of transactions. What else? I mean, the infrastructure is a bit worse than I expected. The roads are not so good. Siem Reap is different, but the rest of the country, I feel like it's not so good.
Yeah, they still have to develop quite a bit, but considering the recent history, they're working on it, I believe.
Yeah. But the people are very friendly here, and they speak pretty good English, so I think that's pretty cool.
First time I came was in 2015. Moved here in October 2020 to Phnom Penh, and then moved to Battambang June 2022.
Can I ask you what you're doing here?
Yeah, so I'm a missionary. Our mission is to help kids and families who live on the streets, give kids a better education opportunity, and teach them about Jesus and the hope in Christ.
How is it to live here?
Living here, it's hot. It's hot all the time, or it's raining. But the people, Cambodians, are amazing. They're friendly, they're hospitable. Culturally, it's much different from America. I think if you're gonna live somewhere, it helps to learn the language.
Yeah. Do you speak a bit of Khmer?
Yeah, I do. And so I think that shows people that you care when you try to speak their language. And also learn about their culture, learn what is disrespectful and what is respectful.
Can you give an example of what is disrespectful in this culture, something that you didn't know yet before you came here?
Maybe not before moving, but shaking hands in America, like that's what you do, you shake hands. Here it's kind of rude to stick out your hand, and the expectation is that you put your hands together and you bow when you greet somebody in a formal way. Things like that are just different. When you learn it and embrace it, and then it becomes sort of easy to get along with people.
What's the very best thing then about Cambodia?
It's the people. The people, they're just nice, they're friendly.
Compared to America, do you think Cambodia is safe?
Yeah, I hear about things in America like riots and robbing stores. I've never had anything stolen. I've heard people had things stolen, but
Okay.
I think it's pretty safe.
I used to be a teacher in Vietnam. I'm an English teacher originally.
Okay.
And I came to Cambodia about 12 years ago, but I only went to Angkor Wat, which was the big thing to go to.
Yeah.
And I found that a bit, it was incredibly beautiful with lots of scammers and beggars, and
Okay.
so it was quite difficult in that respect. I thought, just for moving around. In any big tourist places, I think I like that. This is my third time, so since November I've been traveling. I came from England and was in Laos, Thailand, and so forth. So this is my 6 months of travel.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Wow, you love it.
Well, yeah. It depends on places. I mean, the last time I came to Cambodia, I loved Phnom Penh. I went to the Killing Fields Museum. That was so moving, so amazing. I love Kampot, which is in the south.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Up here, I don't know what to make of it. And last time I came to Battambang, I got dengue fever.
No way.
I did.
Wow.
So I was quite sick, so it has that kind of effect on me. But this is my second time here in Battambang.
What did you do when you had dengue fever?
I went to a hospital here, and to be honest, the hospital was so brilliant.
Yeah.
It was a little private place. I didn't have to go in hospital because
Okay.
it wasn't that serious.
Okay.
But they were wonderful. I went to Siem Reap.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really like it that much because it's very touristy, and again lots of scammers and people.
You feel there are a lot of scammers in
around that area? I
Okay.
think more than elsewhere.
Yeah,
You
well
know,
then
more
again
than
it's
elsewhere.
very touristic,
It's
so
obvious. It's obvious
Yeah.
going to be. But besides that, I mean, it's not the end of the world. And I wanted to get away from the New Year there. So I went up to Sisophon,
Okay.
which is up towards the Thai border. And that was wonderful, wonderful. And everybody was really in the street, like throwing water at each other. But it was much more local. Besides those touristy things, there's generally not. They're very honest, very nice, very helpful. It's reasonably cheap, not so much as Vietnam, but it's reasonably cheap. Food's okay.
why do you do that, like with your hand?
Because I don't think it's as good as, say, Vietnam or Thailand.
Okay.
But I haven't tried everything. I haven't
there
tried
you go.
everything,
Yeah,
right? You know? So I didn't find it that great. I like Phnom Penh. I was worried about getting into Phnom Penh because, big cities, 'cause I'm traveling alone.
Yeah, okay.
So like big cities. But it was quite reasonable.
You feel safe also in Phnom Penh?
I felt pretty safe. Yeah.
I think the only tip I can give to keep your handbag close to you.
Yeah,
and-
definitely. I try my best to do that, because always sort of opportunist stuff.
Yeah.
But no, in general, interesting. I would definitely come back. I wouldn't mind living here and working here, really, as a teacher, something like that. To get less into tourism and more into.
Would you say Battambang is one of the places where you would settle, or?
Yes, but only because it's not really that touristy. Siem Reap's lovely. Kampot I love. Kep, not so sure. It's at the border with Vietnam.
But what's the best thing that happened to you in Cambodia?
I met these great people as we were coming across the border from Vietnam.
Okay.
The guest house in Kampot, which was really lovely.
You know the name of?
Good Morning Kampot,
Okay.
which was on the river,
Okay.
and doing a little river boat trip, which was really not wildly interesting, but just lovely.
Is this something that you recommend not doing?
I might not actually go to Angkor Wat.
Oh.
I might not do that.
I might respectfully disagree with you.
No, absolutely. I mean, I've been before, so
for me it was a one-time. Yeah.
It's a one-off type thing, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, when I went, it was very touristy, but so beautiful and.
Monkeys and trash and stuff.
Well, the
but
trash.
we
I
done
think
it.
they worked on the trash.
They
I
worked
think-
on the trash.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think they maintain it very well,
good,
and
good.
it helped for me that I had a really good guide, and that kind of made the tour.
I think the time I went to the Killing Fields, but S21, the prison,
Yeah.
I had the most amazing audio.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to sit there and listen to every single bit of the audio for the whole afternoon, which is why I did. But maybe I'm wrong about Angkor Wat. But I think, like you say, it's something you do once. Like the Killing Fields, you kind of do it once. You don't. So I might change my mind about that.
Okay, you're so lovely, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your name? Please. Oh, you told me your name.
Chai.
Chai. Hi,
Yeah.
Chai. And how long have you been here?
Now this is my 4th day here in Battambang.
really?
Battambang then,
Oh, in
So,
Battambang.
yeah. So I arrived about 2 weeks ago, but I've been here a few
What
times.
do you think of Battambang? I mean,
Well, today it's the first day. It's actually
it's
very
lovely,
pleasant.
isn't it? very dusty. The roads are
Yeah,
all...
I did not expect to be.
No.
It to be. It looks quite poor.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like,
It's the second biggest city, isn't it, in Cambodia? Strange place, but to discover.
Can I ask you for one favor? Do you have a message to the world or some wisdom to pass on?
Don't worry too much about... Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry too much about things, you know.
We worry
I
too
mean,
much.
for example, you know, you might, like, for example, like you might, when I was coming out of Siem Reap, it was the middle of the New Year.
Okay.
It was really difficult to get transport up to Sisophon.
Oh, yeah.
So I got this tuk-tuk driver and I was thinking, is it a bit dodgy? Is he dodgy? Is he not dodgy? Kept stopping, ringing. And he ended up being so kind. And then he got a taxi specially for me, a really nice taxi, but, you know, a shared taxi up to the place. So sometimes you kind of make assumptions about people. But on the other hand, you have to also go with your gut feeling if you know, if it can be a bit. But yeah, it's gauging people, I suppose, you know, generally thinking of the good, I suppose.
This is my 4th time and I settled here. So I've been here 6 years now and I absolutely love it. Been around Thailand and Vietnam, but it's different here. And in particular, Battambang is different. This is the real Cambodia.
Oh.
It's a family town, good old school values. It's really cool. It's different.
Yeah.
We're agriculture. We used to be the second biggest, but we're not anymore.
What's the second biggest now? Is that Siem Reap?
Possibly Siem Reap. It used to be, I think, Sihanoukville.
Oh, yeah.
Sihanoukville's an interesting story in itself. Battambang here is magic. It's wonderful. And one of the things that we really like, we have a scooter rental business, and within 1 kilometer you can be out in the countryside and the rice fields. And we're very famous for the rice. We just won the world's best rice for the 5th time. A fragrant jasmine number 2. Yeah.
Oh, Jasmine number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying scooter rental. What's the name of the scooter rental?
Yeah, little plug. Thank you very much. Good style. Battambang Scooter and Motorcycle Rentals.
And how much is your cheapest motorbike?
$5.
$5.
Yeah.
From $5, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, nice one.
And also, we have had the number 1 restaurant in town on TripAdvisor, Bar Ang. The tourists haven't come back since COVID. In particular, Thailand is thriving. Thailand's got a new prime minister who's a businessman who's wonderful. There isn't really the will here yet. We sort of wait for everybody else to pay for it to bump the tourism. Yeah. Especially in Battambang. We just get a little trickle down from Siem Reap, but Siem Reap is really cleaned up its act. There was a 38 roads infrastructure project. They spent $150 million cleaning stuff up. It's on the map. Battambang is a little bit different. There's not a lot to do here, but it's a great place to recharge your batteries.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there are quite a few interesting places where you can sit down, have coffee, and a lot of different things. Also at the riverside, so it's nice.
Yeah. The riverside is fantastic, especially 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. The locals are doing their calisthenics and aerobics and all that, and it's a place to hang out, see and be seen. They drive around on their scooters, and the airport too. The airport's really fun. You should maybe have a look there. Yeah. You're dodging cows, and as the sun's going down, all the kids on their hot scooters whip around and have fun there. Yeah, the airport's cool.
Hey, so why I basically make this video is that I hear mixed stories about Cambodia. If you have not been to Cambodia, you got quite a mixed feeling with it. So what is true, what is not true?
Oh my God, this is, as a Canadian, I'm very, very embarrassed. Our government has a travel advisory warning, and they were quoting issues that were back in 2013. There was some little border skirmishes over Preah Vihear, and the United Nations has designated it in our territory, and it clearly is. And now Thailand wants to have access from their side with actual steps up. Preah Vihear is idyllic. It's up high and it overlooks Thailand. That's another story. But no, Cambodia is magic.
So what's Canada is giving a negative travel advice?
But we're pretty... Canadians are not very sophisticated compared to Europeans, especially with travel. We're very clannish, we're insular. I mean, frankly, we don't really have to travel that much.
What's the reason why Canada does this?
I really don't know. Like I said, they're quoting issues from 10 years ago, which is ridiculous. Okay. But it's magic here. The people are we're Buddhist. It's different. In Vietnam, we're only kind of seen as an opportunity. And here, we're like family. There's respect for the family, respect for the church, the elderly. It's very cool. There's some Western crap that's kind of creeping in.
Like what?
Just some styles and lousy food. Like our diet is amazing. There's no junk here. But there's in Battambang in particular, we're the rice bowl of Cambodia. Thus it's so hot. We're only like 16 meters above sea level. It's a big bowl, so the water pools and the rice flourishes, and we grow everything here. But it's very, very prohibitively hot of late, so you have to take precautions for that. But Battambang's cool.
So how about safety here in Cambodia? Let's say
non-issue. It's a non-issue. There's some petty opportunistic theft. There's no violence. There's none of that in Battambang. There's a tiny bit of petty theft in Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh's really... Bangkok is where Phnom Penh should have been, but the Khmer Rouge and all that. Thailand is 40 years ahead of us. Vietnam is 20 years ahead of us. Phnom Penh is fantastic. But there's the odd, you hear about the odd, but late at night, but it's fine for solo women travelers. I've never ever had an issue, and I've been drunk as a skunk at 2 and 3 in the morning sometimes, stumbling around Phnom Penh years ago, and it's fine. It's really a non-issue.
Do you have a message to the world or some wisdom to pass on?
Oh yeah, come to Cambodia, baby. It's different. It gets under your skin. Once you've been here once, you'll be back.
I'm here 6 days. I have 4 more days, and then I have to come back to work.
Did you fly in Phnom Penh?
I fly in Phnom Penh, move to Siem Reap, then I come here, and the day after tomorrow I come back to Phnom Penh.
And then fly back to Italy?
I stay 1 day in Phnom Penh to visit, and then come back to work. It's first time in Cambodia for me. I visit other country in Southeast Asia, but never Cambodia. I like really a lot Cambodia, except for the hot. But
it is the hottest period of the year.
Yeah, I know.
What's the best thing then in Cambodia?
People probably. They're really nice every day, every time of the day. The country is beautiful. But I think the first thing is people. I really enjoy also food, but it's common.
Do you have a favorite dish, or can you?
I try not so much. For now, my favorite is mok.
And the best place where you went so far?
Probably Sun Temple in Angkor zone. Not Angkor Wat, because Angkor Wat I like, but more outside than inside. I like a lot the Far Temple. I don't remember the name. They call the Lady Temple, but I don't remember the original name because it's too difficult to me. I'm so sorry.
What's your first impression of this town?
It's totally different from Siem Reap. Siem Reap is more touristic. Here less. It's a more authentic city, probably more chaotic, more dusty.
Can you think of anything that is maybe not so pleasant here, or something that was not so nice on your trip?
I try to find always the best when I travel, because I travel for this, not to have negative. There is some space or some people that saw always the tourist like money, an ATM. Okay. So I try to annoying you with offer and try to do stuff, but less than other part of the world. So
fair enough.
Just a little bit.
Is there anything else that you can think of? Do you feel safe here?
Yeah. Today I visit the city, but in the not countryside, but in a neighborhood. I feel safe.
What do people really think of Cambodia? Of course, there is always something negative to find, but overall, people are super positive about Cambodia, its landscapes, but also the lovely people that are living here. If you think differently, then you probably haven't been to Cambodia yet. Keep the conversation going in the comment section, but please be nice to each other and especially respectful. I've been receiving a lot of comments, not towards me necessarily, but towards a country, towards another country, and be nice to each other. Next few episodes we will explore Battambang and surrounding area. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you all for watching. Bye for now and stay champ.